Here's some tips and techniques to ensure that you are productive in your residential workplace. The first tip is to establish a routine. And this entails waking up, setting your alarm, having breakfast, getting ready for the day, actually planning out your meals, which is something that often falls between the cracks because at home we have access to our kitchen. But it really makes a difference to actually plan out your day. Schedule a lunch and not just plan your meetings and your work activities, but really plan your day because things are different when you work from home, and especially if you work during a pandemic situation. So you want to have some kind of routine. And part of establishing a routine is scheduling breaks. What I have on the screen here is this represents the first hour of the day. Within an hour, you should work for 55 minutes, being productive, and then for the last 5 minutes of the hour, go ahead and take a break. Stand up, get away from your desk. And then for the second hour, you'll work for 50 minutes, being productive, efficient, doing your tasks at your computer, but then step away and take a 10-minute break. And you'll repeat this, alternating between working 55 minutes and taking a 5-minute break, and then working 50 minutes and taking a 10-minute break until you hit your lunch period. And after lunch, you'll go back to the 5-minute break at the bottom of the hour, and then 10-minute break at the bottom of the hour, and you'll repeat that throughout your day. But an important part of taking a break is not just, I'm going to stop working so I can continue sitting at my desk and check my social media accounts or play a game. What you want to do is actually get away from your desk, and that leads into point number 3. Do some eye exercises. This is something you can practice at the window. Stand at the window, look at the farthest distance that you can, then look up at the sky, look down at the ground, try and focus your eyes on some grass and maybe a tree or a building or a cloud. Transition between looking at places that are far away and close and places that are dark and light. Look at colors and then look at a place with no colors. Really use your eyes and focus on different points. Another eye exercise you can do is to keep your head stationary and only moving your eyes. Look straight forward and then look up as far as you can without it hurting. You don't want to strain your eyes, but you do want to feel a very slight discomfort, and then bring it back down to eye level. And then keeping your head still again, look down and then look up and then look all the way left and then look straight and then look all the way right and then look straight. Again, you don't want to strain your eyes to the point that you feel a great amount of discomfort. You just want to strain until you feel a very slight level of discomfort. You're just stretching your eyes slightly. And so practicing focusing on distant objects and close objects, on bright objects and dark objects, and moving your eyes around is a great exercise for you to practice during your breaks. Another thing you can do is actual exercise. You might have some weights in the garage, or you can do some push-ups. If push-ups are difficult, then you can lean up against the wall and you can push against the wall. You can try some sit-ups. You can do calf exercises. Any kind of movement is good movement. What we want to do is break up the monotony of sitting at a desk for 4 hours straight or for 8 hours straight. You want to get up and get moving. Our bodies are made to move, so we don't want to hinder that by sitting at our desk for too long. An important aspect of working from home is to create a good workshop. And sometimes working from home out of necessity means you have to set up shop for a little bit on the dining room table. And you might even need to plop down on the couch. But ideally, you're going to have a portion of the house that you can dedicate to your workspace. And this will be a clean spot. If you need to turn on your webcam, then you'll want to make sure that you organize the clutter behind the webcam. This doesn't mean you have to have a neat and tidy house, especially if you have kids around. It can be challenging. But before you turn on a webcam, just make sure that things are orderly, because you want people focusing on you and not on what's on the floor and other distracting elements. Lighting is also very important. If you can sit next to a window, windows are a great source of natural light, and natural light is the best kind of light. What you don't want to do is have a window or a light source coming from behind you. So you want the light source to be behind the camera that you're looking at, not behind your head. If there's too much light coming from behind, then you're going to appear as a shadow or a silhouette, and it's going to be too bright in the background, and you're not going to be bright enough, and it'll be hard for them to focus on that. If there's too much light shining on your face, then that can be a problem too. And hopefully that's something you can adjust by altering the curtains or dimming a light, but you want to be mindful of the light. Also, the eye line, you want to keep your webcam up towards the eye line, and always remember that your audience is in the webcam. It might be tempting to look at your monitor all the time, but especially if you're presenting, you want to present to the webcam. An important part of your workstation is actually going to be your audio. Audio is even more important than video if you're video conferencing. A good audio investment will go a long way. You can spend $20, you can spend $120. What you'd want to do is get any kind of external microphone. You don't want to use an integrated microphone if you have a laptop. You want to get something external, and it could be a $20 lavalier microphone. Lavaliers are what you see on TV. They clip it onto their shirt, and you can get some that plug right into your computer or right into your phone, and that's going to be a lot better quality than a built-in microphone. Any money that you invest in audio is going to be money well spent. Another part of working from home that is important is to avoid distractions. Now, there are distractions everywhere. If you're at home, you might have pets, you might have kids, you might have the neighbor mowing the lawn. There are all kinds of distractions. You might have a spouse who is doing spouse activities in the background, but you want to try and minimize the distractions that you have control over. And so that might mean scheduling in social media, or if you like being current with the news, then my suggestion is to read the news and don't watch the news. You can read news a lot quicker than you can watching the news. And also the news that you read tends to be generally better content than the productions that you see on TV. But you don't want to be receiving a feed throughout the day. Maybe schedule in some time in the morning or in the afternoon or evening where that's your time that you dedicate to the news. So any distraction that you can monitor during the day is something that you want to be mindful of. Number 7 is dress and groom for work. It's tempting to roll out of bed and go to your workstation right away, but it really does make a difference if you dress up a little bit, if you groom yourself. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to wear high heels and a tie necessarily. For men, I say a polo shirt and slacks would be just fine. Comb your hair. For women, whatever you feel would be appropriate. Note that you're not going into an office, but still the uniforms that we wear do make a difference and do affect our professionalism and have an influence on our productivity as well. So just be mindful that you don't want to be at work in your pajamas. Our next tip is to use video whenever you can, especially in times where a lot of people from the office are working from home, maybe for the first time. Video is very important. Our interactions are incredibly important. And be mindful that even when you're in the office, the water cooler gathering place is a very important aspect of work. We're social beings and we really want to be present. And so if you have an opportunity to turn on your webcam, our inclination generally is to not turn on our webcam. We tend to prefer to not be seen, but it really does make a difference. It ensures that you are present and engaged, and people do appreciate seeing you just as you appreciate seeing other people. Number 9 is to manage expectations. I mentioned before that some of us have kids, some of us have pets or neighbors who are out doing noisy yard work or construction crews. You might tell the family, or you might tell people, let them know, by the way, I'm going to be in a meeting for some time, and to help me out by being mindful of the noise and your activities, but also be aware that if you have a baby, it can be hard to control a baby. And if you have pets and other factors from outside, we just have to realize that working from home is a new reality in the workplace, and it brings new obstacles and trials. And so we have to be patient with ourselves and with the people around us and with others within the workplace. And so just know that sometimes things might happen. Somebody might walk into your room, or there might be some sort of distraction that you can't really control, and you just have to be patient with that, and we're all doing the best that we can. The last tip that I have to share with you is to disconnect. Working from home brings a unique challenge in that your workspace is always with you. You don't leave your work when you leave the office, because your office is home. Your office is within walking distance from your bed, from your fridge, And it can be tempting. You always have projects that you can be working on, and there's always something that needs to be done at work. But tomorrow is another day, and tomorrow is a day when you can address those projects. And it's really important for your own sanity and also for the consideration of your family and the people that you're with to disconnect from time to time. You might have to tell yourself, okay, today I'm going to stop at a certain hour and I'm going to turn off my computer, or I'm going to turn off my computer for a few hours and dedicate time to my hobby or my family, or you know what, I'm going to watch a little bit of TV, or I'm going to play some video game, or I need to take a walk in the neighborhood. Really scheduling in those things and being mindful and purposeful in disconnecting from work and disconnecting from technology. My final thought is to not forget to socialize. We are social animals, and the water cooler is an important venue within the workplace. So pick up a phone, Zoom outside of a formal meeting, schedule some time to chat with your team. You can even create a Padlet scrapbook and pass it around. Don't forget that you are human and you are working with humans, and humans need each other. That's why we are part of a society, and your team, your workplace is part of a society, and you belong to that society. And so don't think that just because you are working from home that you have to be isolated. If you have other tips and tricks for working from home, please leave them in the comments below. And thank you for being with me.